నమో నమః అందరికీ నమస్కారములు సర్వేభ్యో నమస్కారః టుడే ఈజ్ the weekend lecture by Dr. CSR Prabhu garu on Patanjali Yoga Sutras part 2. Last week we had part 1. Now this is part 2. This is in 4 parts. So next week and next week also we'll have part 3 and 4. So we will start this session with Vande Mataram and Prarthana. Let us request Prakash garu to recite Vande Mataram, please.
Yes, sir. Sarvebhyah namaskaraः. Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram. Sujalam Supalam Malayaj Sitalam Sasya Syamalam Mataram Vande Mataram Suprajosna Pulakitayaaminim Pullakusumitadrumadala Sobinim Suhasinim Sumadurabhashinim Sukhadam Varadam Mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram. ధన్యవాదాలు. నమస్కారం.
వందే మాతరం.
వందే మాతరం సార్. ధన్యవాదాలు సార్.
ధన్యవాదములండి ప్రకాష్ గారు. Now let us request Krishnamurti garu to chant Prarthana, please.
सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः. ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनाम् उपमस्त्रवस्त्रमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सादनम्. ॐ श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः. ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती वीणाम विद्यवतु. ॐ श्री महासरस्वत्यै नमः. गुरुरेव गतिः गुरुमेव भजे गुरुनैव सहास्मि. नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशिरस्मि गुरो मतिरस्ति गुरौ मां पाहि गुरो. ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानाम् अयग्रीवम् उपास्महे. श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं. शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः. ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय. ओम शांति शांति शांति. मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्य देवो भव अतिथि देवो भव. ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. ओम शांति शांति शांति.
ధన్యవాదములండి కృష్ణమూర్తి గారు.
नमस्ते.
Thank you so much. Now let us start the session. Dr. CSR Prabhu garu doesn't need any introduction to all of us, and he has taken the first episode last week. Now, without going further, we'll request him to start the second episode, please. Namaskaram.
Well, friends, we have seen in the previous session the chapter 1 or the Samadhi Pada of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So the Patanjali Yoga Sutras have 4 padas. The Samadhi Pada is the first one, and the Sadhana Pada is the second one, which we will be covering today. So the Samadhi Pada explained various samadhis in terms of the nature of the samadhi, samprajnata, asamprajnata, vichara, nirvichara, savitarka, nirvitarka, and so on. So these samadhis are very difficult to get, but those who get, they are into yoga deeply, extremely deep experiences. And the second chapter today, which we'll be covering, will be dealing with the sadhana pada. That is how to get that state of samadhi. You know, among all samadhis, nirvikalpa samadhi is the highest. And if you go to Ramakrishna Math, they will say that Ramakrishna Paramahamsa has reached nirvikalpa samadhi. And therefore, he is an avatar. And you have to sign an agreement that you accept Ramakrishna Paramahamsa as an avatar. Then you will be admitted into Ramakrishna Math as a member. So that much is the importance. So those who reach nirvikalpa samadhi are considered as realized souls. Almost all the important personalities whom we know, like Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Ramana Maharshi, or others, they have all reached samadhi stage in one way or the other. And that is the final goal of the entire yoga system. The Ashtanga Yoga, which will be explained today, is aimed at reaching the samadhi stage. Of course, each anga is independent by itself. It is not a sequential process. You cannot say unless you finished yama and niyama, you cannot go to asana. Because there is no such thing as finishing. Because satya, himsa, brahmacharya, asteya, parigraha, this kind of yamas and niyamas, there is no concept of finishing it. They are parallel, and we will be now delving into these topics. So, in the first chapter, Samadhi Pada, the samadhis which are explained are supposed to be reached by only advanced students. Ordinary people cannot reach. So automatically, they reach samadhi without any sadhana also. Like some people, like Ramana Maharshi, right from young days of student days or childhood also, some people like Manik Prabhu and others, they were getting into samadhi state. So for the Uttama Sadhaka, the first chapter is adequate. This Samadhi Pada, which is the complete description of what is yoga and various types of samadhi. So among the various types of samadhi, we had the Savitarka, Nirvitarka, Savichara, Nirvichara at the subtle level. Savitarka, Nirvitarka, Savitarka is very common, what we see in our research analysis or in terms of our thought process when we analyze things, Savitarka. So Nirvitarka is when you are deeply absorbed into that. Savitarka Nirvichar Visharadhya Adhyatma Prasadaha. There is one sutra. In becoming an expert or perfect in Nirvichara, you will get Adhyatma Prasada, that is spiritual peace. Now the Nirvikalpa is much higher than Nirvichara, and even after that Nirvikalpa there will be some bijas of the samskaras of karma vasanas which may result in rebirth. So Sabija Samadhi is next, and Tasya Nirodhe Sarva Nirodha Nirbija Samadhi. If even those bijas, the seeds of vasanas, are removed, then Nirbija Samadhi will come, which is guaranteed moksha, liberation, no birth again. Now regarding the sadhana pada, which we will be covering today, the practical approach to reach samadhis is given in detail. So tapaswadhyaya isvara pranidhanani kriya yoga, that is the first sutra of sadhana pada. Kriya yoga, he has used the word kriya yoga, which means practice of yoga or practical yoga, not just theory. Mostly, we talk theory all the time without any practice. So theory, like Swami Shivananda said, an ounce of practice is better than a ton of theory. So tapas, swadhyaya and Ishvara pranidhana, three are the dimensions or parts, components of practical yoga, kriya yoga, in practice, yoga in practice. What is tapas? Austerities of various types. Fasting is a tapas, pranayama is a tapas, or Surya Namaskara is a tapas, or some people do tapas inside water. Jala Samadhi they take. And some people do tapas in the middle of fire, surrounded by fire. You can see all various forms of tapasvis doing various forms of tapas. If you go to Himalayas, you go to Rishikesh or Haridwar, you can see many people doing all these different types of tapas. Of course, in normal society also, on Shivaratri day, people do complete fasting. And this tapas is there in all cultures, in all religions, in all countries, in one form or the other. Swadhyaya is the second one, that is Su plus Adhyaya or Swa plus Adhyaya. Swadhyaya is self-study. Su Adhyaya means good study. So instead of studying worldly things or useless junk like fiction and so on, if you study the Arsha Granthas, a literature originating authored by the Rishis, then it is called Swadhyaya. Otherwise, it will be junk, trash in, trash out. And Ishvara Pranidhana is the third principle, that is surrender to giving up all the attachments, desires, or goals to Ishvara. So in the last chapter also, he has told Ishvara Pranidhana Dva, you can achieve Samadhi through Ishvara Pranidhana also. So Tapaswadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. This is the first sutra of the second chapter. Of course, there is one organization called Yogoda Satsanga by Swami Yogananda, who is the disciple of Lahiri Mahashaya, who is the disciple of Babaji. That organization gives a name Kriya Yoga for their own method of teaching yoga. That doesn't mean others are not there. We have many institutions, many schools of yoga. So this Kriya Yoga or practical yoga is meant for Samadhi Bhavanarthaha, to achieve Samadhi, and Klesha Tanukarnartha, and to reduce, if not eliminate, the Kleshas, Dukkhas, miseries. So what are the Kleshas? Avidya Asmita Raga Dvesha Avinivesha Klesha. Sutra number 3. Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, and Abhinivesha. Avidya Kshetram Uttaresham Prasuttanvichinnodarana. Avidya is the root foundation for all other kleshas. That is Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha. All these are based upon the Avidya only. What is Avidya? Anicca, Ashuchi, Dukkhanatma, Sunitya, Sukha, Sukhatma, Khyatira Avidya. That is sutra number 5. To think the untrue is true, the unreal is real, the impure as pure, and non-self as self, and misery as pleasure. Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Avinivesha, Klesha. Anicca, Ashuchi, Dukkha, Anatmasu, Nitya, Shuchi, Sukhatma, Khyatira Avidya. To think what you are not as yourself, like Chittavritti Nirodha, Tada, Drashtu, Swarupya, Avasthanam, Vrittisarupya, Mitaratra. You identify yourself with your Chittavrittis because you are not able to stop your Chittavrittis through the yoga system. So you will be identifying falsely with the name, designation, status, Aadhaar number, PAN number, and so on. And you will be thinking falsely temporary entities as permanent. Like your life. Life is not permanent. But most of the people think it is permanent. Otherwise, they cannot live in this world. And then money is not permanent. But people think money is permanent. Name is not permanent. Designation is not permanent. Everything is not. Like we saw what has happened in Bangladesh. Such a long period of ruler finally is a refugee today. So we know what is avidya. Anitya, Ashuchi, Dukkha, Anatmasu. Ashuchi, what is dirty is believed to be pure. Like this body is filthy inside. If you take, it contains all filthy things. Flesh, bones, blood, and excreta. This is what the body contains. But everybody thinks the body is the ultimate, most valuable thing ever. Pure, they think it is pure. Anitya, Ashuchi, Dukkha, Anatmasu. A lot of people think various pleasures which they get are really pleasures. They are not. Like many pleasures which we think they are pleasures, they are actually miseries in disguise. They look like pleasures, but they are miseries. You know what I mean? In your life, you might have experienced all these things. Anicca, Ashuchi, Dukkha, Anatmasu, Nitya, Shuchi, Sukhatma, Khyatira Avidya. So avidya or ignorance, ajnanam, one and the same, is the cause of such false. It is also known as Maya. Avidya is also known as Maya. And also known as Prakriti. We have discussed last time how in Prakriti we are identifying falsely with the body, with the senses, with mind. Drugdarshana Shaktyor Ekatmaneva Asmita. Asmita is defined as Ahankara. To again, same thing, to think I am so and so, king or Maharaja. And I am so and so, I am so and so, I am great. Sukhanushayi Ragaha. What is Raga? That which is based on Sukha. If you have pleasure coming out, then you'll have Raga on it. If you have pain coming out of it, you'll have Dukkha. Dukkhanshayi Dveshaha. Sarasavahi Vidushopi Tadharudho Abhinivesha. Abhinivesha is fear of death. Even Vidushas, that is Panditas, scholars. We have two types of people, Panditas and Pandita Manyas. The real Panditas who are really having knowledge, and there are others who are fake Panditas, who are assumed or who are imposing, or you are taken for granted as having knowledge. They are called Pandita Manyas. So even those both categories suffer from fear of death. Abhinivesha. Fear of death is one of the worst fears. If you are fearless, then you are liberated. Abhayam, it's a Daivism. If you are having fear, you have so many fears. Income tax fear, doctor fear, lawyer fear, fear from wife, fear from son. So, what is the greatest of all fears? Greatest of all fears is fear of death. Dhyana heyas tad vrittayaha. These vrittis, avidya, smitaraga, dvesha, abhinivesha, they can be eliminated through dhyana, through meditation. As I told you last time, Dharma Yoga meditation, keep on observing what thoughts, what emotions you are getting to suffer. You observe them independently. Then they will become weak and gradually they will go. You can replace them with the positive emotions. That is the purpose of various religious rituals, parayanas, stotras, visualizations, dhyanas, pujas, to remove the negative emotions and replace with positive emotions. Klesha mulaha karmashaya drishta drishtadeva. Karmashaya. From your karma, you are getting all these experiences, which are kleshas, and they are coming from drishta janma and adrishta janma. They have to be known, recognized. Drishta janma is in this life, whatever horrible things you might have done, those results will act on you. And in the past lives, whatever horrible things we have done, those results also act on you. Today, whatever you are doing is a result of your past karma. The past karma can be this lives or past lives. Combined both. Satimole tad vipako jatyayo. So these karmas, their fruition results in the particular birth, particular janma, jati, ayu, longevity of living, and bhoga, that is enjoyment or suffering. Basically, it means you have to experience your karma. Whatever you are experiencing today, of course, a lot of people ask this question. I also ask this question. Why am I experiencing all these things when I have not done anything now bad about? So bad that I should deserve these experiences. So you have to conclude that from the past. Past either in this life or in previous. This life means it can be right from birth. Previous life, obviously, in previous life, anytime, many previous lives. So avashyam anubhoktavyam kritam karma shubhashubham. Shankaracharya also says, you have to experience. But then, that is prarabdha. But then there is what is called purushartha, human effort. So animals don't have the discriminatory power to exert effort, human effort to overcome the prarabdha, but man has. So by putting effort, you can overcome the results of suffering coming from past karma. You will be suffering, but you can overcome. I have seen in my own life most miserable circumstances, abominable, unimaginable circumstances I have gone through, and I have successfully overcome. It is possible. So these karmas are of two types, which result in two types of results. Ahlada, pleasure, paritapa, pain, based upon punya karma, hara punya. Punya karma, papa karma, and neutral. There are three types of karmas. So, punya karma means all good things, charity, generosity, and tirtha yatras, taking bath in rivers like Ganga, chanting Veda, chanting mantras, chanting bhajans, kirtans, going to temples, doing japam, tapam, all this, you know very well what are punya karmas. Then we have papa karmas, apunya karmas, harassing others, tormenting others, abusing others, causing pain to others, not delivering, not discharging your responsibilities, escaping, and so on and so forth. Pranam samskara dukkhe gunavritti visayathacha dukhameva sarvam viveka. So for viveka is for discriminatory people. Everything is dukkha only. Sarvam dukkham dukkham. Buddha's statement is there. Because the so-called sukham will also turn into dukkha. Heyam dukkham anagatam. Anagatam means not yet come. The dukkhas which are not yet come. Heyam means they should be abandoned. They can be prevented. Drashta drishyayo samyoga heya. Main problem is you are identifying with the drishya. You are not drishya, but you are drashta. We have discussed this on the first day and the first chapter also. The false identification of drishya with drashta. Drashta swarupa is forgotten, and drashta is assuming he is drishya. Vishesha Visheshalinga Matrani Alingani Gunaparvad. I will skip some of the deep philosophical sutras in the interest of time. You can read from this book, which I already told you the name of the book, Patanjali Pradeep by Omananda, available in Gita Press for 260 rupees. Drashta Drishimatraha Suddhobi Prachayanupashyaha. So Drashta, that is yourself, the self, is pure, Suddhaha, but it is getting contaminated with the false identification with Drishya. Tadardham eva Drishyasya Atma. Many commentaries are there by Bhoja, Raja Bhoja, by Vijnana Bhikshu. Swaswami Shatyoho Swarupo Hetu Samyogaha. So the Samyoga of Purusha with Prakriti, the self with the non-self, Tasya Hetu Avidya, is caused by Avidya. Is also known as Maya, Prakriti. So whatever is being told here in the Yoga Sutras is told in the Vedanta Darshan also in a different way. So Vyasa Bhashya and Vijnana Bhikshu's commentaries are extensively quoted. Tadabhavat samyoga bhavo anam tatushe kaiva. So if that false identification with the Prakriti due to avidya, if it can be removed, if avidya can be overcome, then you can reach Kaivalya. Vivekakhyadiraplyu anupaya. The Hanopaya means the solution for this problem is Vivekakhyati, Viveka Jnana. And Aviplava means pure, undisturbed, and peaceful. That kind of Viveka will lead to solution for this problem. Tasya Saptadha Pranta Bhumi Prajna. So that Nirmala Vivekakhyati will result in 7 types of high stages of prajna, realization. So those 7 stages are Hetu Kshinavastha, Prapya Pravavastha, Vikersha Sunyavastha, and so on. So this process of removal of avidya through viveka, khyati, and therefore reaching kaivalya is achievable through the yoganga anusthana, yama niyamasana pranayama, pratyahara dharana dhyana samavaya yoga, ashtavangani, sutra number 29. So these ashtangas will result in the achievement of the objective of yoga. So we will now go in detail into the ashtangas. First is yama, second is niyama, third is asana, fourth is pranayama, fifth is pratyahara, sixth is dharana, seventh is dhyana, and eighth is samadhi. What is yama? Yama means not our popular yama of yamalokam. Yamas are 5 principles: ahimsa, asmita, ahimsa, satya, asteya, parigraha, brahmacharya, parigraha, yama. Ahimsa first, satya second, asteya third, brahmacharya fourth, aparigraha is fifth. So these 5 yamas, ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, these 5 are universal principles, because he says jati desha kala samaya anavachinna sarvabhauma mahavrata. They are universal oaths. They are unaffected. They transcend and they are applicable in all times, in all locations, in all categories. That means these are universal principles of ethics and morality, which are upheld not only in the Yoga Darshana, but everywhere, even in non-Hindu systems like Buddhist, Jain, and in fact they can be found even in Bible and Quran and Guru Granth Sahib and Zendavast and so on. These 5 principles are universal. Whether somebody believes in God or not, whether somebody has a particular ideology or theory, doesn't matter, but these 5 principles are universally valid and they are upheld. Because Satya, Ahimsa, these are the fundamental principles on which Satyagraha, Gandhiji's non-violence movement, gave the great results. In Jainism, Buddhism, even in the 10 Commandments, in Bible, or even in Quran, we have found them to be existing. So these are the unnegotiable, non-negotiable, universal oaths, sovereign oaths. Jati desha kala samaya anavachinna sarvabhauma mahavrata. Sutra number 31. And Sutra number 32. Socha santosha tapaswadhyaya pranidhanani niyama. These 5 are yamas and next 5 are niyamas. Their niyama means the rules. They are not universal, non-negotiable as these yamas 5 are, but they are more advanced and therefore not universal and therefore not unnegotiable. Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranita. So what is Shaucha? Shaucha is purification. So how do you purify? So many methods are there. In fact, right from basic purification, a toilet in Hindi is known as Shauchalaya. So taking bath, everything, and then even in the quarantine process, what we have seen in COVID time, quarantine, then purification through baths, purification through sunlight, purification through Agnihotra, Yajna, and purification through mental purification, through meditations. All these are shaucha. Santosha is satisfying. Contentment. I have seen some people, they are contented. In Bhagavad Purana also it is mentioned. Contentment is the highest. He is the greatest man who is contented. Tapas, we already discussed. Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, we already discussed. Swadhyaya refers to study of Vedas, Shastras, Upanishads, Sutras, Darshanas, and so on, what we are doing in this course. वितर्क बाधने प्रतिपक्ष भावनम वितर्क हिंसादय कृतकारिता अनुमोदिता लाभ लोभ क्रोध मोह पूर्वक मृदु मध्यादि मात्रा दुःखाज्ञान अनंत फला इति प्रतिपक्ष भाव. There is a what is called प्रतिपक्ष भावनम, which is to realize the damages, losses coming out of abrogation of the yamanemas, like performing himsa. Krita, either you perform himsa, or karita, you make others perform. Anumodita, you accept when others perform. Either through lobha, greed, krodha, anger, moha, mrudu, maybe very mild, or medium, or high, mrudumadhyadimatra, dukkha, jnana. What will be the result? Dukkha, jnana, ananta phala. There will be a backlash of dukkha, ajnana, which is infinite phala. There is no end to that backlash. Whether you tell a lie, you make others tell a lie, accept when others tell a lie, you commit a crime, you make others commit a crime, you accept when others commit a crime, all these are equally liable and punishable. So by now you might have understood that the Yama-Niyamas are the foundational principles for law. Their abrogation either through greed, lobha, krodha, anger, moha, delusion, either in very small, mild way, mrudu, madhya, medium, or adhimata, high dosage, they will have a backlash. And that backlash will be endless. This realization is called Pratipaksha Bhavanam. So what will happen to a person who is well established in Ahimsa? Ahimsa Pratisthayam Tat Sannidhau Vairatyaga. A person who is well established, fully established in Ahimsa. In his presence, all hatred will be abandoned. Hatred will be abandoned by not only humans, but even by animals. Satya Pratisthayam Kriyaphalashrayatvam. By establishing Satya, you will get Kriyaphalashrayatva. Asteya Pratisthayam Sarvaratmopsthan. If you are established in Asteya, non-stealing, you will automatically get all riches to you without asking. Brahmacharya Pratisthayam Virya Labha. If you are established in Brahmacharya, your Virya will be saved. And when Virya is saved, your health, your strength, your longevity will improve. Aparigrahas Thairye Janmaka Kadhantas Sambodha. If you are established in aparigraha, that means a non-possessiveness, you will realize your past lives also. Shauchat Svangajgupsa Parayra Samsarga. If you are established in Shaucha, you will find your own body as disgusting and you will not like to mix with others who will be very disgusting. Smell and all that. Sattva Shuddhi Saumanasya Ekagri Indriyayatta Atma Pradarshana Yogyatvanica. And Shaucha can also lead to Sattva Shuddhi Saumanasya, happy present mind, Indriya Jayatva, Atma Darshana Yogyatva, Ekagriya, concentration, full control, discipline, conquest of Indriyas, and self-realization also. That much are the benefits of purification, Shaucha. Santosha, the Anuttama Sukla, a contentment, Santosha is yet uncomparable happiness, satisfaction. Ayendriya Siddhira Suddhikshaya Tapasa. By tapas of various kinds, you will get Siddhi of Kaya and Indriya. The purification. Swadhyayad Ishtadevata Samprayoga. Ishvara Samadhi Siddhi Ishvara Pranidhana. So Ishvara Pranidhana is fundamental. You can reach Samadhi through Ishvara Pranidhana. That is why in Bhakti Yoga, Ishvara Pranidhana is exemplified to a very great extent. Now that is about the Yamanemas. Now we go to the asana. Sthiram Sukham Asanam. Sthira Sukham Asana. That which is fixed and comfortable is called asana. That means for long period. Well, then we have so many other asanas. We have a whole course on asanas. I've written a book on asanas. They are all meant for body fitness and health. So much so that finally you'll be able to sit in a fixed position for long. So I don't want to talk about all the asanas now. You can see the yoga course, asanas book. And Surya Namaskar is also there. Tato Dvandvena Abhihata. So by being successfully established in asana, you'll be unaffected by dualities, dvandvas, sukha, that is, heat and cold, pleasure and pain. Just by asana itself, you can transcend them. What about samadhi? Tasmin sati, shvasa prashvasayo, kati vichhedaha pranayama. What is pranayama? Is nothing but interrupting the ongoing sequence of inhalation, exhalation. Bhakyabhyantara stambhavrittihi, deshakala sankhyaabhi, paridrishto, dirgha sukshmaha. So, Reshaka, Puraka, Kumbhaka, internal, external, based on time factors, based on location, subtle and gross. So, one sutra, yes, described the entire science of prana. We have so many types of pranayams. We teach all of them in our yoga courses. Bhakyabhyantara Vishayakshepi Chaturtha. So, other than the three Puraka, Reshaka, Kumbhaka, there is a Chaturtha, that is a Bhakya Kumbhaka, which will come automatically. That will withdraw from the Vishayas. Tatakshiyate Prakashavaran. Through pranayama practice, the covering or the coat around you will be removed. Dharana suje yogyata manasa. Taponamata param pranayama tato vishuddhi. Malanam deeptischa jnanasya. Through pranayama itself, you can reach jnana deepti. And it is also going to make the mind fit for concentration. Dharana sucha yogyata manasaha. Svavishaya samprayoge chittasya swarupanukara ivendriyanam prachara. So next to pranayama, we have the prachara, which is withdrawal from the external world, withdrawing the senses from the external world into yourself. That is the step after pranayama. Tata parama vasyate indriyana. With that, you will be able to conquer your senses. So we have covered the Prachahara. Up to Prachahara we have covered. So this is the completion of this chapter, Sadhana Pada. Of course, the next time we will do the Vibhuti Pada, the Siddhis, and we will do the Kaivalya Pada, the Moksha, at the end, the last session. So to review once again, today's Sadhana Pada comprises of the various practices of Ashtanga Yoga, starting with the definition of Kriya Yoga as Tapaswadhyaya is Pranidhana and Kriya Yoga, going to the level of Ashtanga Yoga, Yama Niyama Asana Pranayama Pratyahara Dharana Dhyana Samadhayo, Ashtavangani. So the Ashtangas are very famous. In some of the Upanishads, the Ashtangas are mentioned. In some of the other Upanishads, only 6 Angas are mentioned, assuming Yama and Niyama is already there. Shadangadi Yoga. That means Asana Pranayama Pratyahara Samadhi. There is the actual yoga. Yama Niyama are the additional introductory features, which are like Dharma principles. So by adding these 2 things, we get Ashtanga Yoga. I'll just take a small break here, and meanwhile you will have any. Let us have a discussion, a clarification on the Sadhana Pada Ashtanga Yoga.
ధన్యవాదములండి. Anybody wants to ask any questions? You may raise hand or unmute and talk.
Namaste, Acharya. I have a doubt.
Yes.
Are these principles of Ashtanga Yoga prescribed equally for women? Especially
Women, men
reproductive,
or women, there is no differentiation.
no differentiation. Pranayama and asanas are prescribed for women in reproductive age.
There are some asanas are prohibited for women,
Mm,
and some asanas are recommended for women.
mm.
That is they are some of the special asanas, but basic asanas are common for all.
And Surya Namaskara and all.
Surya Namaskara is common for all.
So women in reproductive age can, even if they're not following brahmacharya, they can
No, they
practice.
during menstruation cycle, no yoga is permitted.
Okay. No yoga.
Under normal circumstances, brahmacharya means 2 things. One is grihastha brahmacharya, other is brahmachari brahmacharya. That is before marriage and after marriage. Before marriage, brahmacharya means no interaction with the opposite sex, or male and female both. No indulgence with opposite sex. But after marriage, brahmacharya is defined as dedicated relationship with the spouse only. No adultery. That is called brahmacharya for grihasthas. You understood?
Yes, sir.
Because adultery is a crime.
Mm.
Because that is nothing but abrogation of brahmacharya. But even the courts will punish adultery. So the same 5 principles are there in the court of law also.
Okay. Anybody else? If nobody else has anything to say, we will today we'll try to close it now and then go for prarthana and then Janganamana. Krishnamurti garu,
Namaste.
can you do prarthana, please?
Line. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः अपुत्राः पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अदनाः सदनाः सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतं सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान्मा प्रमदः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु नमस्ते
ధన్యవాదములండి కృష్ణమూర్తి గారు.
परम
Now we'll go for
ధన్యవాదాలు.
జనగణమన. ప్రకాష్ గారు.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे
जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे
जय 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 हे
जय
जय हिंद
ధన్యవాదములండి ప్రకాష్ గారు.
नमस्ते सर थैंक यू सर